Hello student, welcome to the fourth day of online tutorial station. Today's topic is memory unit. So to process the data, we require both the data and instruction to be stored in the memory location of the computer. Why it is required? Suppose I have given the instruction to add number 15 and number 30. So number 15 and the number 30 is the data, and instruction we are giving that to add these two numbers. So both the information to execution of this instruction, both data and the instruction need to be stored somewhere in the computer. So the all the computer data and the instruction can be stored in a special location of the computer, that is called the computer memory. So depending upon the type of storage, we can classify our memory into two ways. One is primary memory and another one is the secondary memory. Now we will explain the primary memory. Okay, the primary memory is actually called the main memory of the computer. Why it is called the main memory of the computer? Because computer cannot run without it. Okay, two type of main memory is available in case of computer. One is RAM, that is called random access memory. Another one is ROM. In details I will explain about this two in the later on the lecture session. Okay, now come to the secondary memory. Okay, to store larger volume of data permanently, we need actually the secondary storage. Okay, so it will store the data and the instruction of the program whatever in a permanently, okay, in a permanent mode. Okay, so for that reason, whatever result of the data processing are stored from the RAM for the future use purpose. Okay, so in case of permanent storage of data is not required, so that's why secondary memory is become the optional one. So that's why computer cannot run without the primary memory, but secondary one is an optional one. Okay, for this actually need for the future purpose, okay, not for the currently for the data processing and all. So that's why secondary memory is actually a optional one. Now we try to differentiate between in the two memory. Okay, so how we can differentiate between primary memory and the secondary memory? So computer cannot run without the primary memory and computer can run without the secondary memory. Okay, primary memory may be volatile or may not be volatile, but secondary memory is also non-volatile. What is the meaning of volatile and non-volatile? So volatile mean is that it will store the information temporarily, and non-volatile means and it will store the information permanently. In case of primary memory, the information can be stored permanently or temporarily, but in each and every cases, the secondary memory will store the memory in a permanent way. Okay, data can be lost in case of power is switch off, because this is just happening because of in case of RAM only. If you switch off the computer, then because it is storing the memory in the temporary basis, that's why if you switch off the computer, it will not hold the information, but data is permanently stored in case of secondary memory. Okay, so primary memory is actually the working memory of the computer, and it is secondary memory is an optional one. Okay, the example of a primary memory, you can say it is a RAM and ROM, and here you can say hard disks, pen drives and all are the example of the secondary memory. Okay, we need to know about few terms about the memory. Okay, so primary memory actually the composed of the memory cell. Okay, where each cell can either store a single bit information, either 0 or either 1. So that's why it is called bit. That's why it is called bit. Bit means the binary digit. Okay, if you arrange such 8-bit information, then it will form the memory bytes. Then it will form the memory byte of information. Okay. Now we will explain the primary memory in details. So first we explain that is your read-only memory. Okay, so read-only memory is actually a non-volatile memory. Why non-volatile? I have explained earlier that it will hold the information permanently. Okay, if you switch off the system, then also it will hold the memory. Okay, so this kind of a memory actually is required in case of BIOS. So what is the use of the BIOS? Actually, it is usually used to from the BIOS of the chip of the computer, because BIOS will help you to store the whatever informations are there, instructions is required during the startup of the computer, or when you switch on the computer, in whatever instruction is required by the computer, that is stored in the BIOS. So if it is not a permanent, then your computer will not start. So that's why it is stored in the ROM. Okay, so depending upon the ability to retain the program or the forever purpose, we can classify the ROM in different way. Okay, so first we have to understand the general ROM. Okay, ROM actually the first normal ROM is the first the semiconductor ROM. It is a pre-programmable set of data. Pre-programmable set of data or instruction means it's whatever information is there, it is already in the ROM. Okay, we no need to write, it is already there. Okay, now the second form is the programmable ROM. What is the programmable ROM? Okay, it is an unprogrammed one. Unprogrammed one means when you buy this ROM, it is not programmed at all. Nothing is written on it. Okay, so you have to apply the electrical charge or in the input pin to write the information. If you have written, then it will store it in a permanent way. Next, come to the next one, that is erasable programmable ROM. Actually, here you can erase whatever information you have written. If you try to erase it, you can erase it. It is the erasation of the information can be happen by the use of the ultraviolet ray. So here ultraviolet is used, so that's why it is often called that UV EPROM. Okay, ultraviolet erasable and programmable read-only memory. Next is EEPROM. EEPROM stands for electrically erasable and programmable ROM. Okay, here also if you try to erase any operation or something, okay, you can done it an electrical way. So that's why it is called EE. Double E is here used here for the, you can erase it in an electrical way. Okay, next come to the topic, that is random access memory. Okay, so random access memory, actually the programs are loaded into the main memory and run from there. So data also loaded into the memory for the faster access. So random access memory actually is a volatile in nature, so it will hold the information on a temporary basis, not on a permanent basis. Okay, so this type of memory is required for the CPU execution, for the processing of the data. Okay, it will hold for the time being of a when the processing is going on. After the one process is finished, it will erase this data. Okay, it will lose the data. Again for the next processing, again it will hold some data. After the execution of this process, again it will lose this data. So that's why it is called that not one volatile one. Okay, it is volatile one. Okay, depending upon the consumption of the memory, we can classify the RAM in a two way. One is the static RAM, another one is the one is the static one, another one is the dynamic RAM. Okay, so first we will answer on dynamic RAM is what. So dynamic memory is also a volatile memory, because static and dynamic both are the RAM, so that's why both are actually volatile in nature. Okay, in case of dynamic memory, the basic memory cells are consist of the transistor and capacitor. So it need to be refreshed at the regular interval of times to retain the data, because to retain, if you suppose to that it will store the data, so again and again you have to refresh it. So that's why the packaging density is very high and cost per bit is also very low. So speed of in order to execution, it is 80 nanosecond. Okay, and it's actually used to make the main memory working for the computer. Okay, now we come to the static memory. Static memory or static RAM is also a volatile memory. Okay, here in case of dynamic RAM, we are using transistor and capacitor both. But here in case of SRAM, we are only using the transistor as a memory cell. Okay, and we no need to refresh it on a regular basis, unlike the DRAM. So that's why the packaging density is low, but cost per bit is high. Okay, and speed of order is 20 nanoseconds. It is much more faster than the dynamic RAM. Okay, today I'm ending my lecture over here. Thank you, student.